on with the show. Hey everyone, Sol here. I have only one rule here. If it's animated, I'll comment on it. And things seem to be normal around here. Suspiciously normal. Almost too normal. But I guess I shouldn't, reject normalcy, so I guess if I'm gonna act normal, I guess I should do what I normally do, which is review cartoons. But because of all the stress, I haven't really prepared a cartoon. What am I gonna look at? Oh, I know! How about a cartoon I've been pushing back repeatedly on my schedule? Now seems like the perfect time to talk about it because, well, I remember it from my childhood, so I can think of worse reasons to talk about a cartoon. Yes, we're gonna take a look at a odd, mysterious, often overlooked duck of a cartoon known simply as Cybersix. Cybersix is a 2D animated series produced by NOA, animated by TMS Entertainment, and adapted from the 1992 Argentine comic book series of the same name by Carlos Meglia and Carlos Trillo. The series originally aired in 1999 on Teletoon in Canada, with a total of 13 episodes airing over one season. The series was planned to have a second season, but was cancelled due to conflicts with the production companies. So this is an Argentinian concept, animated by Japanese, and meant for viewing by Canadians. Sounds like a perfect mess for me to dig my hands into, so let's not waste any more time. Let's take a look at Cybersix. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to make this as clear as possible, but given how circuitous this show's plot is, it may not make a whole lot of sense no matter how much I dumb it down. But here it is! In the coastal town of Meridiana, a mysterious woman by the name of Cybersix prowls the rooftops at night, fighting off the machinations of Dr. Von Richter, a man obsessed with genetic engineering, and his young son, of sorts, called Jose. Though by morning, Cybersix disguises herself as a male high school literature teacher by the name of Adrian Seidelman and befriends her fellow teacher, Lucas Amato. Yeah, that's about the dumbest I can dumb the plot down. Oh, I forgot to mention the part about how Von Richter is a Nazi scientist who worked in concentration camps during World War II. Cybersix is one of his creations known as a cyber, an artificial human with augmented strength and agility, all of whom were killed because they displayed human emotions and free will. Cybersix was rescued by a black slave escaping liquidation and traveled to Meridiana, where she kills Von Richter's other creations to acquire their sustenance, which she needs to survive, and she stole the name of Adrian Seidelman from a boy who was killed in a car crash. You know why I forgot to mention that awesome stuff? Because it's not in the animated series. No, this series excises much of the darker themes in it and leaves them all purposefully vague, which is a supreme piss-off to me. But I'll get into the meat of that later. For now, let's take a look at the characters and pray I don't have to dumb those down as well. Okay, good thing there aren't that many characters to talk about, because to be honest, I don't have much energy right now. I'm sorry guys, but it's been a tiring, stressful few weeks, so I'm just having trouble focusing, I'm sorry. Maybe there'll be something in the characters that will snap me back into action. So the star of the show is the titular Cybersix, an artificial human who prowls Meridiana at night, seeking sustenance and putting the kibosh on all of Von Richter and Jose's schemes. Despite being a genetically engineered superhuman with increased strength and agility, Cybersix has a kind and gentle heart that cares for the people around her. You know, when she's not beating the crap out of them, that is. But there's something else about Cybersix. Something I like about her. I'm sorry, that is really inappropriate of me, but I just can't help it. Cybersix is fucking hot! And what I like is that she's hot even without showing off her TNA or standing in suggestive poses. She's sexy, powerful, kind, intelligent, and dignified. And the fact that she has a male secret identity just makes her even sexier. Seriously, how much hotter can you get? Well, throw in the fact that she has a brother named Data7, who's a fucking panther!
I swear to God you could drown a toddler in my panties right now.
Okay. I better move on before I have to replace the hardwood floors. The other characters are somewhat minor in comparison to Cybersix, but they're worth a look, I suppose. First, let's talk about Lucas Amato, a biology teacher at Meridiana High School and frequent partner of Cybersix's, who aspires to be her sexual partner as well. Jesus, I need to get my head out of the gutter.
What about in the gutter?
Sorry, back to Lucas. I like him well enough. There's nothing particularly wrong with him. Got no other comments, really. Lucas is alright. There's also Julian, a young pickpocket who befriends Cybersix and is a frequent kidnapping target. As far as kids and cartoons go, Julian's alright. Again, I can't think of any solid complaints. He's just alright. Now let's move on to the villains, and though there are multiple villains in this series, the only one worth talking about is Jose. So let's get into that, shall we? Jose is Von Richter's son, kind of, who's dispatched to Meridiana to eliminate Cybersix and take control of the city. Jose is a loud, bratty child who constantly fucks up plans and generally makes a mess of things while trying to look smart and in control. I know I should probably hate Jose, and there's a good reason for that, but I kinda don't. Part of me hates him with every fiber of my being, but another part of me is laughing at how hard this kid is trying. He reminds me of that Linus kid from Shark Boy and Lava Girl, in that he just enjoys being a villain so much that I can't bring myself to dislike him fully. What I do dislike fully about him is his ability to suck any and all drama and tension out of a scene with his desperately crowbarred and comedic relief. But once again, I must admit, Jose too is just alright. It feels so odd to be so middling about all the characters. I mean, it's better than hating their guts, sure, but it's not fun to watch me be so middle of the road about the whole thing. So let's talk about the good things, and hopefully I'll be more decisive there. Now let me just make this patently clear. Cybersix being hot is a good thing. In fact, it's a great thing. But I don't want to waste a whole lot of time explaining it because I'm sure I'll get carried away real easily, talking about her sexy figure and her ass-kicking legs and her deep black eyes. Apologies. Let's get back to it. So aside from Cybersix being one of the most bangin' ladies in animation ever, one thing I have to say is good is the overall style. It's odd, but I see this series' style as being like a menage a trois of Megas XLR, Professor Layton, and Little Nemo of all things. And what comes from those combinations is definitely a subdued, simplistic, but ultimately memorable style that always stuck with me, even as a child. I also do quite like the character interactions, even if they're not particularly deep or significant at all times. Like Lucas and Adrian's friendship is nice to watch, in that Cybersix is capable of acting like a real person around him, and isn't always awkward and weird when trying to hide her identity. Inside this series, I can see a much more interesting concept struggling to break through to the surface. And when it does, on those rare occasions, the show actually becomes quite gripping and intense, to a certain degree. Honestly, I was surprised at how this series wasn't turning me away, as I suspected it would. It managed to keep my attention, and more, and not just because of Cybersix herself, though I won't lie, that was a big reason behind it. Overall, even though it didn't make it all the way, I can definitely say that this series tried, and the effort is certainly there at times. But all the effort in the world can be sabotaged by one stupid mistake, and unfortunately for this series, one stupid mistake was all it took. So let's talk about it, shall we? Okay, I'm ready to tear into this giant throbbing mess of an ulcer of a bad mistake sticking to this series of... Ugh. That was a gross comparison, but hey, sometimes you need to be gross in order to get your point across. So you want to know what the biggest problem with this series is? Yeah? You really do? Well...
What you wanna know? What you wanna know?
No, but seriously, the biggest problem with this series is this little guy right here. Yeah, you know what this is? If you're Canadian like me, you probably do. This little rating here completely sabotaged the series' potential. Why? Because it was made for kids. Yes, a story about Nazi scientists, genetically engineered superhumans, identity theft, genocide, slavery, child death, the nature of humanity, and cloning was the perfect choice to make friendly for kiddies. This means there's irritating comic relief and completely unnecessary cartoon sound effects thrown in just to liven things up, when all they really do is make me grit my teeth until they shatter, not unlike Ben 10 Omniverse. And instead of using the much more intimidating Von Richter as the primary antagonist, they decided to use Jose and make him silly and bratty. So I guess to sum up this point, the tone is about as solid as a gaseous cloud of methane expelled from the fattest ass you could possibly find at this time of day. Also, on another side note, this series, short as it is a Monster of the Week style show, meaning that the resolutions to the conflicts are very, very predictable, give or take a couple of encounters. Those two things may not sound like a big deal to you, but if you haven't experienced them, then you have no idea how much they sabotage this series' potential. And I'm tired of talking about that now. It just makes me angry every time I think about it. So let's just stoke the flames a little bit more with a look at my least favorite and favorite episode. Let's do just that. I'm not gonna dance around this one, mostly because I can't dance, but my least favorite episode is The Greatest Show in Meridiana. In this episode, Jose concocts a retarded scheme to catch Cybersix by creating a circus show with robots, which the entire town is so weirdly excited for some reason. Now, I dislike this episode not only because the overall premise is pretty lame, bordering on moronic, but nothing of any particular interest happens throughout the whole runtime, and everyone, even Lucas, falls for Jose's stupid scheme. It's just a waste of an episode, if you ask me. Alright, let's finish off this bucket load of negativity by saying my favorite episode is Daylight Devil. In this episode, Cybersix and Lucas are on a field trip with their students when Cybersix, disguised as Adrian, is stalked by a reptilian woman named Griselda who can make herself completely invisible. What follows is a tense chase in full daylight where only one person can survive. I'm not gonna lie, this episode kicks supreme ass. It's the most solid, tone-wise, and the fact that Cybersix has to fight off a legitimate threat as Adrian while injured is just such an awesome premise. The whole episode just keeps building up the tension, and it pays off in a way that you wouldn't exactly expect from a Monster of the Week style show that this is. Even if you choose to skip over the series as a whole, I highly recommend you check out this episode in particular. Cybersix is a series that I wish I could love. I wish all the pieces fit. I wish the wrong choices weren't made. But the fact remains that they were, and what we got is, well, it left me severely disappointed. Still though, it is better than I remember it as a kid, and to be honest, there is quite a bit to enjoy in this sexy but ultimately tone-deaf series. I give Cybersix. Three eyes out of 5. So, Cybersix. Is it watchable? well, this is gonna sound a bit tactless, but if you want to give the titular character a bit of an eye humping, then yes, it's definitely watchable. But in general, the series has a subtle appeal to it that does make it watchable. Is it enjoyable? Sometimes. Sometimes it is enjoyable, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, and mostly because of the shifting tone. Is it memorable? That's hard to say, because personally, I only remembered the kick-ass theme song and the first episode. But in general, I don't know, this whole concept seems to have sort of been lost to the shadows. But to be honest, I would love to see someone take another crack at it. With all the cartoon reboots coming out, why doesn't someone else give this series a chance? I mean, the potential is there, and hopefully, if someone does take another crack at it in the future, hopefully they're smart enough to leave out the cartoon sound effects. Okay, I'm ready to— Ow! Fuck! Ow, that hurt. Shit. Effort in the world can be sabotaged. Sabotaged. Fuck, sorry. This might take a bit. Want to stay up to date with all the latest EyeofSol news? You can follow me on Twitter as well as on Facebook at twitter.com/EyeofSol299 and facebook.com/EyeofSol. I update them every day, so if you want to check out news on the show as well as updates, just follow the links here. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my review of Cybersix. I hope you enjoyed it. We got one more series review before the month-long spooky Halloween event, so you're not going to want to miss it. If you could like and share this video, I'd really appreciate that. Or if you could subscribe to my channel too, that'd be awesome, and I would really appreciate that. If you want to check out the previous Sol episodes, you can see the annotations playing on the video right now. Or if you want to check out my various social media sites, you can see my Twitter page and my Facebook page on the screen for you, as well as in the description. If you have an idea for an animated series or movie you want me to comment on, you can leave me a message in the YouTube comments on any one of my social media sites, or just let me know in any way you can think of to let me know what you want to see, and I'll add it to my list. Okay? Thanks again for watching everybody, and I will see you next week for the last series review before Spooky Halloween month.